Very good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever the time is from where you're listening to us and joining us. Very warm welcome from Stockholm here to our escaide 2020. This year, we had to reinvent our lives. As COVID has impacted on activities in all areas of our lives. 1 year ago, many of us were here in Stockholm discussing the climate impact of such big conferences and emphasizing the value that it still has to meet old and new colleagues in, in direct contact. What little did we know? Now, we could not guess how 2020 would turn out. And one of the consequences of the pandemic is restrictions in travel and the cancellations of mass gatherings such as escaide. Today, we are here connected remotely with participants and speakers following escaide from their desktops in Europe and around the world. In a year of this extraordinary pressure for infectious disease professionals, both in the hospitals and in public health practice, I believe it's more important than ever preserving conferences like escaide and offering to share thinking, thoughts, and knowledge. In 2020, the edition of our conference has more relevance than ever because the world is looking at us, a family of epidemiologists and public health professionals of all different disciplines, to address the main questions that the open questions to support the fight against COVID-19. I hope that escaide 2020 will help to spread the knowledge and the science to the greatest extent possible and for infectious diseases in general, but COVID-19 in particular. I also would like to take this opportunity to express my deep gratitude to you and to all the colleagues in Europe and around the world who work tirelessly to fight the pandemic. We might not see each other and we might even not know each other, but we are still united in the fight to bring this pandemic under control. I hope you find escaide useful and you in the experience that you would hope to have. I encourage you to share and discuss the content presented, to ask questions and to suggest actions to strengthen communicable disease prevention and control. Now you see here on the slide an overview of the past escaides. We started in 2007 here in Stockholm, and most of the events have actually taken place in Stockholm. And usually the participants were between 500 and 600. And the fact that we have almost 1,500 participants this year just highlights one of the advantages of these online meetings, because it's possible for people and colleagues to join that would have never had the possibility to physically come to the conference. Although escaide retains, as you can see here, a European focus, we have participants registered from 91 countries around the world, indicating that this is indeed a global conference and a global picture for infectious diseases. Now, the usual program of escaide had to be adapted to the online format. Nonetheless, some principal features have been retained. So we have plenary sessions that you have listed here. We have abstract-led content. And we have side events that were sponsored by Gorn, by Medipiet, from ECDC workshop, and from the EPIET alumni network. And as Martin mentioned, we have a number of info stands where colleagues are also waiting for you to come in and join and show interest. Now, as I mentioned, it's of course more difficult to join, other colleagues and meet other colleagues remotely. We have tried to build in the technical possibilities, all the features, Martin has highlighted those, that you really can still meet other people that you either have heard presenting, that you have read about, that you would always have liked to talk to. Use these opportunities. Use the opportunity to give and receive inspirations from your experience and for your future work as much as you can. And in that sense, I really wish you a very successful escaide. Thank you. And over to Mike now.
Thank you, and welcome from me. I'm really enjoyed the last 2 days. I hope that many of you have been able to follow the online presentations. I think that we have possibly lost our presentation. I will carry on regardless. So just to remind you of the aims of the conference, it's about sharing. It's about discussing scientific issues. It's about showcasing new work, new presentations, and supporting professional development. And I have to say, my experience watching the videos that were recorded for the Fireside panels over the last couple of days, really, I think that that's been we're achieving those goals in this new format. Another aim, of course, is that of strengthening networks in Europe. And I think, as Andrea just mentioned, this is perhaps more challenging in the format that we've got. So I would also encourage you to reach out to colleagues, use the facilities in the application that we use for showcasing escaide, and make contact where you can. So I'd like to start off by extending a huge thanks to fellow members of the Scientific Committee for this year's escaide. The members of the Scientific Committee are not only responsible for coming up with the programme, and I think it's an exciting programme we have this year. Not surprisingly, COVID features prominently, but we've got some other really good plenary sessions tomorrow. But of course, the Scientific Committee also has a major role in overseeing the independent scientific review, and they take more than their fair share, I would have to say, in terms of reviewing abstracts. And this in a year of extraordinary work and busyness. I'm just so grateful to the colleagues for having done that. And you see the members of the committee there in front of you. I mentioned the plenary sessions, and Martin mentioned that before. We're focusing today on COVID, and tomorrow we're looking at field epidemiology in the coming decade. And of course, this is a really significant year, 25 years since the EPIET fellowship began. So it's excellent to be able to mark that event with the plenary tomorrow. And a magic bullet for the control of AMR. Is there such a thing? You'll have to tune in tomorrow to find out. And if you look at our speakers for the plenaries, we've got a really stellar cast of speakers. I'm looking forward to today and tomorrow's presentations, and please don't miss it. And also, we really want you to join in to the plenary sessions. There will be the opportunity to place comments, ask questions using the chat function, and we will do our best to answer those questions and address those comments during the plenary sessions themselves. So in terms of abstract, every year, of course, the conference is really dependent on the abstracts that we receive. This year, perhaps not surprisingly, given the workload that everybody's dealing with, we had fewer abstracts, 253 this year. but nonetheless, I think that's an incredible achievement that we've had that many abstracts in such a busy year for everybody. All abstracts are reviewed by at least 3 reviewers to ensure an independent and objective assessment of quality. And this year, because of the new, it's not really easy to have parallel sessions. We have unfortunately also had to accept fewer abstracts, so it's only about a 50% acceptance rate. But please, those that might have applied, do not be discouraged if your abstract wasn't accepted. This has been an extraordinary year. We're on a learning path ourselves in terms of how to run such conferences. It may be that we can, if we have to go back to this format, we can extend the format to allow more abstracts in the future. But again, please comment on that in the survey at the end of the conference. And I mentioned the reviewers. Again, just as I'm so grateful to the scientific committee, also to the reviewers, 171 reviewers. You see them all listed on the screen. These reviewers gave their time in the middle of COVID to review many abstracts. Each of them reviewed many abstracts, and as I said, the quality of escaide presentations, and the ones I've seen so far the last couple of days, has been every bit as good as the quality in previous years. Really, we rely on our reviewers to ensure that what comes into the conference meets those quality criteria. Continuing professional or medical education or professional development, Martin's covered at the beginning. We have got accreditation for this. In order to apply for it, you do need to watch the sessions, and you do need to complete the escaide survey form. The link to that form will be made available tomorrow. It'll be on the homepage of the conference platform, so it should be easy to find, and from that you will be able to also link to the CME application form. So please, if you need to do that, don't forget to look for that survey form. The survey form, again, open between tomorrow and the 8th of December. So please do that. We're particularly keen. Every year we really look in detail at the feedback we get, and we amend the programme to reflect the comments we've had. This, of course, is the first year we've run the conference in this way, so it's all the more important that we get your feedback on what worked for you, what didn't work for you. We all hope that we will be able to go back to face-to-face conferences, meetings, but if we have to continue with these online forms of conference, then it's very helpful to get your feedback on how it worked and what you'd like to see changed for future years. As in previous years, we do have a conference app, so you can watch us on your mobile. You can watch the presentations on your mobile. You don't need to be tied to your desk, whether that desk is in an office or in your home, in a bedroom, in a living room. You can download the app from the Apple's App Store or from Google Play. And I would encourage you, if you want to keep tuned in through the day but can't be all the time at your desk, then do use the app. And then finally, last but not least, after escaide, all the presentations are recorded, and the platform, the swapcard platform that we're using for bringing the conference to you, will remain accessible for 3 months, so you can go back at any point to watch or rewatch any of the plenary sessions or the recorded presentations. After that, we will be closing the platform, but presentations for which presenters have given their consent will be made publicly available after that date. So with that, I look forward to another 2 exciting days of escaide. I really regret that I'm not able to see more of you and meet more of you face to face, but hopefully next year we may be able to do that, and certainly the year after. But for the meantime, I wish you well. I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference. And in fact, Andrea and I will be seeing you very shortly for the keynote session. Thank you very much.